He walked in like he owned the place, dropped his suitcase in my hallway, and winked at me like I was the maid. I wasn't even told he was coming. My parents just handed him the keys to my house, the house they didn't even know I secretly bought. And the worst part, they told me to be nice to him because he's going to be family soon. Before we continue, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you believe karma always comes back harder. This story will prove it. They had no idea. For months, I stayed silent, letting them believe I still lived in a tiny shared apartment on the other side of town. I never corrected them. Why? Because I wanted to see how far they'd go. I watched as they praised Olivia's fiancé Ethan like he was some golden boy. Even though I knew things about him they didn't. I had receipts. And I had a plan. It started months ago, when I quietly started investing in property through a side business they always mocked. You and your little online hustle. Dad used to laugh. That'll never go anywhere. They didn't know I'd already made 6 figures flipping undervalued homes. I never told anyone, especially not Olivia, who always acted like I was the family disappointment. She was the golden child, the one who did everything right. So when she brought Ethan around, everyone treated him like royalty. Now suddenly, they thought it would be romantic to let him move in and prepare for the wedding in my house. Not a single text asking if it was okay. Not a question about where I'd sleep. Just be welcoming. Lorena, don't ruin this, for your sister. I stood there that first night as he walked through my hallway, brushed past my furniture, and said, "Hope you don't mind me crashing in the master bedroom. Olivia and I want the big room." I smiled, but inside, I locked. In my revenge, I didn't say a word that night. I just nodded and walked away while Ethan kicked off his shoes and flopped on my couch like he belonged there. Olivia arrived a few minutes later, carrying boxes, giving me a quick side hug like I was the help. "Can you clear out the kitchen? Cabinets?" she asked. "I need space for our vitamins and protein powders." I said, "Sure," but what I really meant was, "You have no idea what's coming." I moved my things out silently. They thought they were taking over. In reality, I was giving them just enough rope to hang themselves. Over the next few days, I watched Ethan treat the place like a bachelor pad. He invited his friends over, threw late-night parties, left dishes piled in the sink. He even called one of his friends on speakerphone and said, "Yeah bro, her house is decent, not my style, but free's free, right? Free. I paid cash for this house. I spent 2 years building up the business." They laughed at driving Ubers during the day, flipping digital ads at night. They thought I was wasting my life, but I was buying my future while they were busy worshipping Olivia and her perfect man. And here's the real kicker. Ethan wasn't just arrogant, he was dirty. I caught him late one night, deeming some girl on Instagram from the couch. When I walked in, he panicked and threw his phone face down. I didn't say anything. I just smiled and offered him coffee. That's when it really started. I began setting traps. Quiet ones. I logged into the home security cameras, yes, the ones they didn't know were connected to my phone. I took screenshots, videos, every careless word, every sketchy conversation. And then came the dinner. My parents invited everyone over. Olivia, Ethan, the neighbors, even extended family. It was supposed to be a celebration of Olivia's engagement. What they didn't know was that it was going to be the night everything exploded. The dining room was packed. Everyone was laughing, sipping wine, passing dishes across the long table like we were one big happy family. My mom was glowing, showing off Olivia's engagement ring to Aunt Rita like she had paid for it. My dad gave a whole speech about new beginnings and how proud he was of Olivia and Ethan. Not a single word about me. I was invisible. But not for long. Ethan stood up, tapped his glass with a fork, and said, "I just want to thank Mr. and Mrs. Thompson for letting me stay here while Olivia and I plan the wedding. I feel so lucky to be part of such a generous, supportive family." The whole table clapped. My mother added, "Lorena's been such a good sport, too, letting you use her old room like that." My old room. I looked up and finally spoke. "Actually," I said, "there's something I need to say before dessert." Everyone turned toward me. Olivia rolled her eyes. "Lorena, can we not do this right now?" But I kept going. "You all keep thanking each other for letting Ethan stay here. But no one ever asked me for permission." Dad frowned. "Lorena, you don't live here anymore. What permission would you need to give?" I pulled out my phone. "I think you've all been confused. I never left this house. I bought it." Dead silence. "I own this house. I've been paying the mortgage for 2 years. It's in my name. You all just assumed it still belonged to you because you never thought I could afford anything like this. My mom looked stunned. That's impossible. You don't have that kind of money. I smiled and tapped again on my phone. Here's the deed. Here's the bank transfer. And here, I turned the screen as Ethan. Last Tuesday, messaging another girl from this couch. Olivia gasped. What? I didn't flinch. I told you he wasn't who he pretended to be, but none of you ever listened. You were too busy laughing at me. Now they weren't laughing. Ethan's face turned red. This is insane, she's making this up. I pulled out a second phone. Want to hear the audio? He bolted up. You recorded me. I didn't even blink. You walked into my house, lied to my family, used my furniture, disrespected me in every room I own. So yeah, I recorded everything. The room exploded. My father tried to speak, but nothing came out. Olivia stood there shaking, staring at Ethan like she didn't recognize him anymore. And me, I just sipped my wine, while they all tried to catch up to the truth. Olivia's glass slipped from her hand and shattered on the floor, but no one moved. The room had gone dead silent, only the sound of Ethan's heavy breathing filled the space as he stared at me. Then at the phone, then at the people who once thought he was perfect. Olivia, baby, listen, this is all twisted. She's trying to break us up. She's jealous, he stammered. I tilted my head, jealous, of what? A liar who lives off his fiancé's family and cheats on her, in their house. My mom looked at Olivia, whispering, did you know anything about this? But Olivia didn't answer. She was frozen, her eyes locked on the screen in my hand. Play it, she said in a whisper. Ethan lunged forward, but I stepped back and pressed play. His voice filled the room. Yeah bro, Olivia's family's loaded. House is nice, her sister, total pushover. I'm just laying low till the wedding. Then boom, I'm set for life. Every person at that table looked like they'd been slapped. My dad's jaw clenched. My mom covered her mouth. And Olivia. She didn't cry. She just walked over to Ethan and slapped him so hard it echoed. I believed you, she said. I defended you. Olivia, please get out. Ethan looked around, but no one moved to help him. Even my parents, who once treated him like royalty, looked at him with nothing but disgust. And me, I just stepped aside and pointed at the door. He stormed out, slamming it behind him. I thought that would be the end of it. I really did. But I had underestimated just how far Olivia would go. When she finally realized she had lost everything, because 2 days later she came back. And this time, she wasn't just crying. She had a lawyer with her. I opened the door expecting another apology or maybe another excuse. But instead, Olivia stood there stiff-hollowed, and right beside her, a man in a suit, holding a folder. Lorena, she said coldly. This is Mr. Harris, my legal counsel. I blinked. Legal counsel. For what? Her voice was sharp now, no longer broken, no longer my sister, just someone desperate and dangerous. This house. You may have bought it, but mom and dad gave you the down payment years ago. That makes it a shared family asset. Ethan might have been trash, but that doesn't mean you get to humiliate all of us like that and walk away smiling. I almost laughed, but Mr. Harris spoke up before I could. We're requesting documentation for all financial transactions related to the purchase of this property. If any contributions can be proven from your parents, my client intends to pursue partial ownership. Partial ownership, after everything. I leaned against the doorway, calm. You really want to go to war over my house, Olivia? You started this war, she snapped. You waited, set traps, exposed us. Like we were villains. I stepped closer. You were villains. You moved your fiancé into my house without asking. You ignored me. Mocked me. You thought I'd always be the sister in the shadows. Mr. Harris interrupted again. We can settle this quietly, Lorena. Maybe 50-50 on the equity. I looked at him and smiled. I already submitted everything to the real estate board, including the wire transfers, business income statements, and the full timeline. Also, just a heads up, my boyfriend is an attorney, and he found this little detail in the property laws. Gifts, unless documented formally, do not entitle the giver to any claim over an investment made years later. Olivia blinked. Boyfriend, yeah, I said, stepping back and pointing to the man sitting inside Confident.com, in a navy suit watching everything unfold. Meet Jason, corporate real estate attorney. He was the one who suggested I let you all play yourselves before I made it clear who really owned the ground you were standing on. Olivia's face collapsed. Mr. Harris mumbled, "We'll be in touch," and turned away. As they walked off, Jason stood and wrapped an arm around me. Think they'll try again? I smiled. Maybe, but this time, they'll know exactly who they're messing with. Because I wasn't the family's failure anymore. I was the woman who built everything they thought I never could. And I didn't just take back my house. I took back my power.